Smack It Off the Podcast is coming soon. Why would you assume something different? Smack It Off the Podcast is preparing now to tell you why your team is so horrendous. Oh dear, what a shame. Always the same game. Loser at all things. No luck that it brings. Fails at every try. Can't help but sigh. Clumsy and in wit. Can't seem to quit. Trips over on feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic poor soul can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret. You're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend. Maybe luck will bend. Smack It Off the Podcast is coming soon. Why would you assume something different? Smack It Off the Podcast is preparing now to tell you why your team is so horrendous. Oh dear, what a shame. Always the same game. Loser at all things. No luck that it brings. Fails at every try. Can't help but sigh. Clumsy and in wit. Can't seem to quit. Trips over on feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic poor soul can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret. You're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend. Maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic poor soul can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret. You're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend. Maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic poor soul can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret. You're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend. Maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic poor soul can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret. You're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend. Maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic poor soul can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret. You're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend. Maybe luck will bend. Smack It Off the Podcast is coming soon. Why would you assume something different? Smack It Off the Podcast is preparing now to tell you why your team is so horrendous. Oh dear, what a shame. Always the same game. Loser at all things. No luck that it brings. Fails at every try. Can't help but sigh. Clumsy and in wit. Can't seem to quit. Trips over on feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic, poor soul, can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret, you're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend, maybe luck will bend. Smack It Off the Podcast is coming soon. Why would you assume something different? Smack It Off the Podcast is preparing now to tell you why your team is so horrendous. Oh dear, what a shame. Always the same game. Loser at all things. No luck that it brings. Fails at every try. Can't help but sigh. Clumsy and dim-wit. Can't seem to quit. Trips over on feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic, poor soul, can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret, you're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend, maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet, defeat is so sweet. Pathetic, poor soul, can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret, you're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend, maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet, defeat is so sweet. Pathetic, poor soul, can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret, you're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend, maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet, defeat is so sweet. Pathetic, poor soul, can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret, you're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend, maybe luck will bend. Trips over own feet, defeat is so sweet. Pathetic, poor soul, can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret, you're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend, maybe luck will bend. Smack It Off the Podcast is coming soon. Why would you assume something different? Smack It Off the Podcast is preparing now to tell you why your team is so horrendous. Oh dear, what a shame. Always the same game. Loser at all things. No luck that it brings. Fails at every try. Can't help but sigh. Clumsy and dim-wit. Can't seem to quit. Trips over on feet. Defeat is so sweet. Pathetic, poor soul, can't reach any goal. But hey, don't you fret, you're not beaten yet. Keep on trying, friend, maybe luck will bend. Smack It Off the Podcast is coming soon. Why would you assume something different? Smack It Off the Podcast is preparing now to tell you why your team is so horrendous. Oh dear, what a shame. Always the same game. Loser at all things. No luck that it brings. Fails at every try. Can't help but sigh. Clumsy and dim-wit. Can't seem to quit. Trips over on feet. Defeat read is so sweet, pathetic poor soul can't read.
Dr. Balls is a presentation of Smacking Off the Podcast.
Dr. Balls in the house. What's going on? The doctor knows who's going down. Dr. Balls will know.
Smacking Off the Podcast.
What's going on?
What's up, Doug?
How's Florida?
Florida's breezy and warm. And rainy.
Let me bring everybody in here. Let's see who is lined up. Okay, so Ed keeps dropping out, so he may be having internet issues.
Yeah.
Nikki?
I'm here.
Nikki's here. Jason?
Yep, here, and is Dr. Ball staying away from the bath salts? I need to know that first.
No.
Bath salts. What do you do with them?
Bath salts are a delicacy for Florida man.
Oh,
But more South Florida, more
Miami.
not as far
So what
down.
do you do with the bath salts? I mean, I know that people are...
You eat people's faces.
Yes.
How about now, guys?
Yes, now. But, hey, you were fine before, but the show hadn't started yet, and that's why you were muted out.
Okay, well, you know, with tech, I'm not smarter than a fifth grader, so.
Oh, Ed.
yeah.
Ed, how are you doing on your brackets?
I didn't do a bracket.
Oh, fuck. Bob, you didn't do a bracket either, did you?
No, but if I looked at the games, and I'd probably be about, right now, I'd be 75%.
That's not bad.
I went into to the last round in really good shape, and I came out behind the two people that are in the Smacking Off bracket group, which is Sean and what's that Tennessee girl's name? I'm kidding.
Jen Chavez.
Yes.
Where is Sean?
Sean is a professional, but he's fashionably late. That's how he comes in. That's how he rolls.
I thought he was
said
still like at his little man conference or something.
Sean,
What's going on?
Sean, we forgot what your voice
Wow.
sounded.
Well, hell yeah, we're glad you're back after your hiatus from while you
We
was
did
doing
forget
the
what your voice sounded like.
It's good to be back. Good to be back.
Hell
Are you
yeah.
turned on, Ed?
So, hey, let's give Sean a minute to go ahead and catch himself up because he hasn't been on the show since what, like the round of shit, the first round, right?
Yeah. Well, right before that, before Selection Sunday.
Yes, we
All right,
did a couple of segments.
So what jumped out at you that you've seen so far?
Chalk is holding, and it's not been a very exciting tournament. It's been a good tournament, but it hasn't been an exciting tournament.
That Florida Tech game was exciting.
That was one game.
Florida is Florida's
The,
a very exciting team to watch.
they certainly have been lately. I wouldn't have
Except
thought
if you're
those
a
games
fan.
would be as close as they were.
So me as an Alabama fan, I'm real excited. I had Bama going out in the Sweet 16, so making it to the Elite Eight was beyond anything that I really thought that they would get to. So
I got a question, Doug. Are you rooting for Auburn?
no.
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 Do you know how many Bama fans are literally yelling War Eagle?
Fuck them ain't Bama fans, they're fucking
Like,
with you.
Hey,
That's
I
what I
gotta
said.
jump
Are
in,
y'all
Doug, real quick.
bandwagon
Doug, I got somebody that wants to watch the show. What do they do?
go to Smacking Off the Podcast on Facebook, and it's
And
running
that's
live
it.
right now. Or they could go to YouTube and search Smacking Off the Podcast, and it's running live right now.
Okay.
Hell yeah, we want them to watch. So yes, you want to just Google us, find out the best way to do it, and join the show. You might enjoy it. I think you will. And even though it has run chalk, it also makes me think that the Selection Sunday committee kind of got it right. Is there any chance of that?
So how many top seeds are in? 3?
All 4.
4.
Oh, fuck.
Second-
I missed that one.
The second time it has happened since 2008, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
First time since 2008.
Yeah. Fuck, that's what I meant.
It's only happened twice, then and now.
Well, we can all celebrate the fact
Oh,
that
and you guys know what happened in 2008? Last time
Florida
it
won
happened?
championship.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
we can all celebrate that Tennessee got their asses knocked on.
Florida
Hell
didn't win
yeah,
in
we
2008.
did.
2006,
Who won?
2007.
Oh, we won in 2008. What?
Oh, we won. Yeah, that's right. 6 and 7. Right?
It's,
And we won
it's
football
confusing
in
because you got the football shit going on too.
Yeah, we won football in 8.
6 and
Didn't
8.
win it in 7. Yeah. we
No,
didn't
yeah,
win
yeah.
it in 7.
No, but you won the Heisman in 7.
If I want to
Yeah.
take a guess right off the top of my head, it was actually the year that Memphis forgot to hit free throws.
Goodness.
Against Kansas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Though even had they won, it would have been vacated.
Yeah. There's that too. Yeah.
When you need 8 different people to take your ACT and you still don't score that well, that's not good.
That's crazy,
No, I
isn't
think
it?
they got the seating right. This weekend was pretty. I mean, other than the Tennessee game, that was brutal for them. But everyone else, pretty much, it was intense. It was fun.
You know,
And I
I
think
had
It's
forgot.
going to give me a heart attack.
I don't remember which bracket it was, but the reason I was saying was it 3 out of 4 is because for some reason it's been stuck in my head. It keeps getting stuck back is that Purdue was seeded first, but they weren't.
Yes, I can
They
see
were
that.
looking that way early in the season, but they fell off.
It's wild that we're about 7 minutes into this podcast now, and we haven't brought up the obvious elephant in the room of Duke giving that belt to ass over the weekend.
Well, they definitely romped. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I don't know if they'll do that again, but it was their day. Keeper Flag, Knipple, they were all on top of their game, and nobody could really stop them.
I mean, I got nothing to say. As soon as when they got into the Elite Eight, I said this is territory that Bama ain't gonna be able to handle, and I didn't give a shit who we were playing.
Yeah,
That's where I was going to disagree with Nikki. I love Nikki, but 3 out of the 4 games, the Elite 8 games, to go to the Final Four, they weren't close.
No.
Well, I'm
mean,
saying that the seating was
Houston
correct.
destroyed Tennessee. Duke destroyed Alabama, and despite the score being a little closer than Michigan State was never beating Auburn.
No, but they got this. What I'm saying is the seating, right? You're getting to the point where these guys just showed how big of a difference they were than the rest of their.
absolutely.
Hey,
You know,
you might be able to argue that we could have ended up at a better place in the Elite Eight. Is that what you're saying, Sean?
I wish we had better games. I mean,
You can say because the top seeds all got in that it was seeded right, but that's kind of a simplification. It's possible that we had some bad matchups in the Elite Eight.
It's only the second time ever you've had 4 ones make it to the Final Four, though.
I think the tournament has been getting better as far as games each round, but that just tells you that the levels of this college basketball right now, there's it's like layers on like a wedding cake, and it's getting better. But I really hope this coming weekend the games are really good. Otherwise, you're just It feels like we've wasted 3 weekends in a row here.
Well, see, Sean, we've got AI now, and eventually it'll be incorporated. AI will figure out
AI is just going to tell us
the way to line this shit to get the best matchups all the way through, and it'll probably work.
As soon as they figure out to get the 6 fingers off of the people in those AI generated photos, then we'll be in good shape.
And that's so 3 months ago, man. I ain't seen a 6 finger in a long time, dude.
So they're making progress then.
They are.
Okay.
But I think Sean's going to be disappointed in one of the games. So,
What game is that? And
I will never pick a dark horse again.
the second one.
Never.
Who let you down, Nikki?
Well, my dark horse was freaking Texas Tech, and then I had to watch Florida go up against them and almost have like 4 heart attacks.
So you're saying you cursed your Gators by picking Texas Tech as the dark horse?
But I've had them as my pretty much dark horse all season.
Right.
And it's like,
yeah.
Why did I do
you
that?
could have probably you could have just declared war against them, and they probably still would have given you a heart attack.
Yeah, they looked good. They're a scrappy little team. That's why I liked them.
no, I don't like the matchup of Auburn, and I know that's how the sides worked out. But Auburn and Florida meeting in the Final Four before the championship, I don't really like it. I don't know if it's good for the ratings. Well, one of them will have to go, so I guess it won't matter. But I really wanted to see Florida match up against Duke. I think that's the most interesting matchup left. Even though Houston's got some incredible defense, it's really impressed me. Florida has the size to play Duke, I think. And I don't want to think that far ahead because Auburn's really good, right? Auburn could beat Florida, and so I think I would have loved to see the Duke Florida matchup in the Final Four as opposed to the championship game.
Well, I'm glad we got Auburn. Honestly, now they're kind of injured, even though they're still playing pretty lights out. We can use that for our advantage. So you might get Florida in the championship.
Yeah, and Houston. I'm not saying that Houston might not beat Duke, but I was really impressed by Duke, and I've watched them on and off several times throughout the season. I watched them against Kentucky, in which they looked confused about what to do at crunch time, but they're not confused now. Cooper Flag probably is the best player
They
in the
haven't
country.
been tested, though.
And how many people that don't believe that Duke can, that they're just flag. That's it. That
But then they didn't
anything
watch
other
the
than
Alabama
him.
game very
Yeah,
well.
that's
That's
right.
what I-
They are not just him.
If you're
And
a
they
sport,
haven't been.
if you're a sports person in the South that says Duke is nothing but Cooper Flag, you're a fucking idiot and you should not be listened to. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Well, most of them
I
are
thought the
homers.
driving force of that Duke team, it seemed like whenever they needed a basket, it was Con Knippel in that game. Like,
absolutely.
I'm like, man, Alabama's starting to get it close here. And Knippel would go down and just a simple jumper bank shot, and okay, it's back up to 9. Bama could never close that 7 to 9 point deficit. That was.
And all this time I have been calling him Con Kneppel because that's the way that we've been pronouncing him at 24/7 Sports leading up to the season.
What is the pronunciation?
Well, we have been calling him Kneppel, but when the announcers kept saying Knippel, which is it's a very easy thing to do. So
Yeah.
I'm not faulting the announcers or anything like that. But my wife could not stop giggling every damn time they said nipple. It's like knipple, and I hear
Well,
like butthead.
Like Beavis Butthead, yeah.
Yeah.
The good news
Like
for
nipple.
her is supposedly, and for those who don't like Duke, bad news. Isn't there like 3 more brothers behind him that are all lined up to come to Duke at some point in the future?
Oh,
It
you're gonna
wouldn't
be
surprise
sick.
me. It's almost
Like-
what was it, like the Plumleys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, suppose he's got 3 younger brothers, and they all want to follow in his footsteps. And I'm
And
sure
then-
John Shire
and then-
is already recruiting the youngest one, who I think is in 5th grade, 6th grade, whatever. So
Yeah,
nice.
and then you got Carlos Boozer's kids,
Yep.
Cameron and Caden Boozer, that are coming in next year.
So despite the entire ACC being garbage, Duke at least is the only one that still is taking basketball very, very seriously on campus there.
They are not the Goofy Dragon for sure.
No.
I got a question, Bob.
What's
Where
that?
are you? Where are you, Bob?
I'm in on Hutchinson Island, Fort Pierce.
Are you in a motel?
No, it's like a house we rented, like a Verbo.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's like a 5-bedroom house with a pool. I was going to do this out by the pool, but the pool mechanism and the air conditioner is noisy as hell. And so I didn't want to do that to everybody, you know. So I
Can't
come in
hide,
here. What's that?
can't hide money.
Oh, yeah. Look at this 1970s kitsch here, guys. Don't you just love that? Right?
Love
You
it.
know, I should have a mirror on the ceiling, too. There is a hot tub in there, though. I'm going to get like James Brown later and do the hot tub.
Yes.
Right.
Coach
So,
Saban's not in the hot tub there, is he?
I must say,
but that's
Dr.
not
Balls,
the
you
Verbo.
look exceptionally comfortable.
Yeah, I'm mellow, man. I'm like on the right trip right now. I'm not really tripping per se, right? But I'm just saying that I'm on a mellow tip. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cold lamping.
Dr. Balls has put in the work. He's earned a vacation. He's only
Yes.
got 3 more games left, and then it's we're on to baseball.
Well,
All right, Bob.
I was
All
going
right,
to
Bob.
say if Dr. Balls is getting comfortable, I'm going to get comfortable too because I actually have a chair massager in my gaming chair here in the studio. So you know what? I'm going to play along too. So.
All right, so Bob, I know you're comfortable, but it's time to get to fucking work here. How about these two games?
All right. Well, these games are very intriguing. You got great defense at Houston, and against a Duke team that plays excellent defense, but I don't think on the level of Houston. But they have size in every position. I mean, Flag is listed as guard forward, right? One of the reasons Alabama lost is the only person that could challenge him that had foot speed to go up and down the court with him was Nelson. So that left Knipple and his buddies to eat Alabama alive. And they was also able to block shots from every position. They was able to rebound from every position, and they basically smothered Alabama in half and was able to equal them in speed. So that's impressive. So that's where I think that Duke has the edge on Houston, and I'm picking Duke in this game. What about you guys?
I want to say real quick, like the two games there that the size was an issue was both Alabama and Michigan State. Their guards were too small, and that's something they're going to have to address. Other than for Alabama, the kid that really impressed me was the freshman Phylon. But you saw Sears was just gobbled up because even though the TV is very deceiving, Knipple's 6'6", so he's not a small guard, and that's the difference in some of these teams this year that are still playing. They are just so long, like Duke and Florida are just when they got all 5 of those guys out there. You go, where is the space? Where is the room? They're just so long.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that. I absolutely do see that. And that's where, like you said, Sears couldn't handle the size of Duke, and other teams were smothered by having Florida's lineup was able to smother smaller guards. Though, to their credit, with Texas Tech, Williams, a power player who was a little bit smaller, was able to muscle Florida's guys around. I don't see anybody with Duke that can do that. They're big, is long, and athletic, but I don't think he's a power guy like Williams was for Texas Tech if they had to match up. But on the other hand, we're talking if you're in Houston, I think they got a guy that can do that, but I don't think we can count him to score, and that's why I'm in on Duke on this game.
I tend to agree with you. I think Duke's going to win the game. Obviously, I'm rooting for Houston. I've been on the Houston bandwagon all season. I'm not going to get off it at this point. My question is, I just don't think Houston's going to be able to keep up scoring wise with Duke in this game. That's why I think Duke will probably win. I hope I'm wrong, but Houston got a great matchup in Tennessee. They kind of play a similar style of game, and they got hot and Tennessee didn't. Whereas Tennessee was hot in the game before that against Kentucky. Sorry to bring that up, Bob. but yeah, I think that one could potentially get out of hand, and so unfortunately, I think Duke's going to win the game. I'm rooting though, fingers crossed for Houston.
There you go. So who you got on it, Ed?
Well, okay, so Houston played their best game. Obviously, a different style than Alabama plays, just like Alabama played their best game in the Sweet 16. Houston played their best game shutting down Tennessee. They're simply not going to do that against Duke.
Well, definitely not, at least to the extent they did it to Tennessee. How many points did Tennessee have going in at half? Was it like 19 points?
15.
15. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're not a scoring team though. So what the problem is usually teams didn't want to play Tennessee's game of a defensive game and extended possessions, but that was just fine with Houston. But Duke has
Houston's
no
like, we
desire to
love
play
that style.
possessions.
The
Yeah,
other thing is Houston will not be able to shut down Duke
No.
the way
I
that
agree,
they
Ed.
shut down Tennessee. Now, Tennessee helped them, okay? But Duke's going to get their points, and I think it's going to be Duke by about 10, maybe even 15 points.
damn it, Jim. What about you, Jason? Who you got on it?
Well, the talk about this game and just the thought of this game is making my concha nipples hard. I'm just going to say that right now.
I was going to ask you, are they hard right now?
Low hanging fruit, and he picked it.
I was right now. Thank God the webcam cannot like pan any lower right now. Otherwise, you would probably see a little bird dogging going on right now. First of all, I want to issue an apology to the Houston Cougar Nation for ever doubting you in the NCAA tournament, because I believed that if there was a team as far as a matchup that could have given them fits and possibly took them out, it was going to be Gonzaga. Now, Gonzaga's run came a little too late, and unfortunately that ended their season. Purdue respectfully surprised me. That turned out to be a much more exciting game than I anticipated. And they just not only caved Tennessee's heads in, they were in Tennessee's head. The absolute physicality and dogman mentality that Houston had in that game, maybe a lot of it is for the fact that, the SEC, those 13 teams that came in, we get a chance, we get a crack at one of them, we're going to put a boot up their ass. And that's exactly what they did.
You mean 14.
14. Yeah.
I mean, it was
only two didn't make it.
Early.
Sorry, South Carolina.
It was
LSU
over.
Whipped them. Just straight whipped them. Now, everybody in this matchup is going to talk about Cooper Flag. Everybody talking about this matchup is going to bring up LJ Cryer and Sharp. They're going to bring up Conkenapple, however you want to say it. But the matchup I am looking forward to seeing.
Ooh, I know who it is.
It's going to be JoJo Tugler and Common Malawach.
I knew you were going to bring up the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
Because Malawach was a menace in that game against Alabama.
Yes, he was.
Literally, Cooper Flag, they were in Newark, New Jersey. Cooper Flag could have been in Secaucus, throw up an alley-oop, and Malawach was going to dunk it somewhere.
He's 7'2", correct?
I think somewhere close to that. I don't know right off the top of my head. He's tall too.
He's so fluid for a big man, which is incredible.
Very, and that's why he's right on the cusp of the lottery in the projected NBA draft right now, which we know mock drafts will change as the months come along. But right now, he's like right in the middle of the first round, and for good reason. But JoJo Tugler, and you can even say for that matter, Jawan Roberts, those are two mean, nasty sons of bitches when it comes to the paint. And that is really the matchup, because if Houston, do I think that they could be able to slow Houston down? I think they could. But what's going to be the key in this game is going to be, and Kelvin Sampson, he talked about this in an interview we had earlier in the season on the 24/7 Sports college basketball show about playing the smaller lineup and having success. Malowatch is going to have the height advantage with the physicality. I think is going to be very equal. And for Houston to stay in this game, he has basically got to stick to Common Malowatch, just like Duke's defense stuck to Mark Sears like stink on shit. That's going to be the way.
Let's caveat that real quick. He cannot afford to get into foul trouble.
No, he can't.
If Tugler gets into foul trouble, Houston's in trouble.
And in Houston, they have shooters as well. But the thing about Duke that I've been watching all season, and it's not hyperbole that I've been saying this is probably the best team that they've had in 10 years, because I believe it. Because if you remember the days of Tim Duncan and those San Antonio Spurs teams who were boring as shit to watch, but they were effective. And that's why they were fundamentally sound, and that's why they won multiple championships in that era. This Duke team is pretty much the same way. You saw the ball distribution in that game against Alabama. Alabama had no answer for it whatsoever. For Kneppel, for Flagg, for Malowatch, not even for Caleb Foster. They couldn't get an answer for him, or Tyrese Proctor. They couldn't find an answer for anybody because everybody was getting the ball distributed and they were coming up big. And I think right now, the way that Duke is playing right now, I think the momentum is not going to stop. I think Arizona may have gave them a little slap in the mouth to kind of to wake them up, because at the opening tip, they were against Alabama. They were ready for that game, and that's why they jumped out to a 15-5 lead. Houston against Tennessee, they were ready for that game. Both of these teams will be ready for that game, and it's going to be a knockdown, drag out rock fight. But the key in this one is going to be the battle of Common Malowatch and JoJo Tugler. But I think Malowatch is going to be too strong. The Big Blue Devils are going to win this one. They're going to go on to the national championship.
I think we also owe you, Jason, a bit of credit and kudos on you've called it, man, from right after the Sweet 16 games ended. The way that BYU was playing against Alabama, you said Shire is going to watch the tape and he's not going to have Duke play defense the way BYU did. And you were spot on. He had the absolute perfect game plan. And it was basically, okay, Mark Sears is going to throw up 25 threes. I know it was the whole team that did it. I'm being that's being hyperbolic right there. Not, saying Duke is this is the best Duke team in 10 years. But he studied that film, because Mark Sears 2 points in the first half after the way. And the thing about it is BYU did not play a bad game against Alabama, minus the really just bad 3-point shooting. You can say that. But other than that, they didn't play a bad game, and Alabama was just on. That's just one of those anomalies in sports where you can't be mad. You just tip the hat and go, okay, it was your night. Just like with Michigan State, there was a lid on the basket against Auburn because they had their chance, and when they got their chances and they got their points, Auburn was able to respond. And then when Janai Broome came in with a bum arm and hit a three, you knew right then, okay, Sparty, it's not your day. It's your first L in your career against the SEC team in the NCAA tournament. You went 10-0. I mean, props to you. You went 10-0 since 1995. That's pretty good, but it just wasn't your day that day. Well, I think we knew that in the first half. I mean, that first 10 minutes. I mean, it was like, man, are they building a house with all the bricks they're shooting? I mean, and some of them weren't even. It wasn't even an Auburn defender with a hand in their face. I mean, this is an open shot, and it's just rattling out. And I go, yeah, I don't think Sparty's got it tonight. You're missing open shots like that against a team as good as Auburn is. I'm not buying them tonight. I said I think Auburn's got this, and and then when Broome comes back, having his mini Willis Reed kind of scenario there, and he buries that three, I stick a fork in.
Oh yeah, we had our little. I had a little foster puppy in my arms that we got Sunday. Which, by the way, it's getting adopted on Friday, so that was quick. After Janai hit the bum arm 3, I just looked at him and I went, "Okay, croissant, it's not Sparty's day." And he just he looked
And
at
the good news about the whole thing, though, is Tom Izzo has said he's coming back next year. So it's not we're not saying goodbye to Tom Izzo just yet, and I think that's a good thing.
he better start getting on that recruiting trail. Because
Well, I think everyone has to get on the recruiting trail.
Yeah.
after
Well,
watching this tournament.
Like Maryland.
I think he really needs to get on it now because I'm almost he had Jace Richardson, but he may be falling behind because you're looking at teams like SMU that are starting to get these recruits. You're starting to look at BYU that are getting these recruits, and who knows? Kevin Willard, now that since you mentioned Maryland, Kevin Willard, now that he's going to Villanova, he might be able to get them back into the Philly area as well.
Love it.
Because credit to Kevin Willard, he actually did a hell of a job at Maryland. He really did. It was just that one extra night in NYC that he didn't get that pissed him off, and that's why he's headed to Villanova.
Maryland shouldn't be bad at basketball, though. You're situated in an area where you have 3 large metropolitan areas fairly close by. You have DC, you have Baltimore, and Philadelphia.
But he said his issue was they wouldn't put enough into their NIL for
I think
basketball.
that's
like they're more invested in football. They're more invested in football. And also
which is crazy to me. If you're Maryland and you're more invested in football than basketball, I think that's silliness.
Well, my dad always said, always follow the money, but that's where the money is now. But going back to that, also Damon Evans, who was the AD of Maryland, was going to go into the SMU. So he didn't know who his next boss was going to be and how much of a commitment they were going to have to basketball. Excuse me, which I agree is absolutely crazy to think about because you're in a talented, rich DMV area where if you can keep a lot of those guys home, you're going to be competitive for years.
Absolutely. There's some great players from that region, and a few of us went to Kentucky. Keith Bogans was a great player that came out of there, and and they have a great style of basketball that lends itself to playing big time basketball at the college level. So you've already played in great high school tournaments and games when you're in Baltimore area in particular, and DC, and by the time that you get to college, you've seen a few big lights. So that's good to get recruits from there. And they got gritty playing style. Now, Nikki, who do you have on the Duke Houston game?
I have Duke winning it, but I don't think it's going to be a 15-point. I think
acknowledge them, Nikki. Acknowledge them.
No, I think they're awesome. They've been a team I've enjoyed watching, but I think Houston's playing with this massive chip on their shoulder, and we're seeing that each week it's getting bigger. And now you watch SportsCenter, you watch the board, you watch this, and it's Duke. Houston has that chip. Like, no, we compare with them, and they're coming in to show it.
I do think, and to Nick's point, I do think that's absolutely true because how many times did we hear in both the Sweet 16 game and the Elite Eight game, if Houston doesn't win, this will be another year in a row where they don't quite make it to the Final Four. I think those guys heard that. So I completely agree with Nikki that they're playing with a big boulder on their shoulders. Now, will that be?
I don't know if it's big enough.
5-star talent all across the board. I don't know, but I'm with you. I hope they equip themselves.
I think both of these Final Fours, these teams got the matchups they wanted. Auburn wanted Florida for revenge.
They've only played once. That's right. That was the game where Florida had its coming out party in the jungle on the plains, and then you have Houston just battered Auburn.
Houston,
even though I'm sticking with Duke,
in the background of Duke.
Yep.
You didn't hear about Houston. You heard about Duke. It was Duke. So now Houston gets to come out and say, you know what, I'm going to prove you should have been talking about us the whole time.
Potential dubious stat too for Houston. If they don't get the job done, I think they will become the program with the most Final Four appearances without a championship as
They
well.
could.
And
And
they're
even
last,
though
And
I'm
Master
stick,
P's son plays for Houston. Okay,
Make them say,
Master.
"Oh,
What
Yes.
are you thinking?
nah."
What are you
I mean,
sticking to, Ed?
when you have
What's
an
that?
open soldier,
Ed keeps saying he's sticking to something, but then
no,
he doesn't
so
finish.
I'm sticking with Duke, but the one chance Houston has, and it won't be easy, is they have to break Duke's will.
that's very hard to do too.
No,
Bob,
I
no,
did
no,
don't
it's
know
Bob,
if they
did you
really
have.
stick
hard.
with
I
Virginia?
don't. I think Houston has to play as Houston has been playing. Houston has to stay in their head and not let the outside noise get to them. We watched that against Tennessee. I heard it on ESPN. I heard it on every sports forum you could imagine that Tennessee was going to roll Houston. Okay. They heard that and they said, watch me. Now they're
Yeah,
hearing it
it was
again.
like they rolled Ohio State. Remember? In football.
Exactly.
So
Mhm.
so maybe a better way to say it is that Houston will have to frustrate the heck out of Duke.
Bob, did you
Your
pick
way.
on this already?
Yeah, I
think
picked
Houston
one.
has
I've
to
got
show
Duke.
up and
You
prove
got
that
that.
they're the team.
Okay,
they
so
played.
everybody's got Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the turd in the punch bowl here, and
I
Houston's
want
gonna
Houston to win.
Houston's. How many games has Duke won in a row now?
It's quite
I
a
got
What the fuck was
few.
that?
Sorry, vibrator going on.
Yep, somebody's got a vibrator.
Not me.
I think,
Not-
the dry,
Everybody
I
look
think
at
someone's
Everybody
dryer
look
went
at me
off.
first.
Yeah, that was
It
the
wasn't
dryer
me.
going off in the next room. I thought I was going to dig a hole out here, man. I was looking for trench warfare. I was going to hide. I thought that was my kid. You know what I'm saying?
It's time to make the donuts. So yeah, I'm going with Houston. Even though I had Duke going to the final to play Florida, the way my shit went this last weekend, this last round, I'm going with Houston.
I
Don't
certainly
you
hope
vote.
you're
I
right,
want
Go
Doug.
ahead and
Houston to win.
wreck my shit even more
My-
than it already was.
My
Yeah.
heart is with Houston, and just my brain and
Mine
my eyes
too.
see Duke, and that's a tall task.
So now, how many games has Duke won in a row?
I'm looking
Let's
into it
see.
right now.
Okay, so yeah, I mean they lost some early games, and
I think they've only lost 3 games all year.
15 in a row.
Wow.
Their last loss was to Duke on Clemson on February 8th.
Y'all know these win streaks in basketball are hard to keep up, especially when you're playing
Yeah.
quality opponents, especially when you're playing a team that's not getting a lot of credit, that probably deserves a little credit.
I
see Houston pulling it out.
I think Houston has a longer winning streak than Duke, as a matter of fact.
Oh, well, then we can use the same argument against Houston.
Yeah, so Houston's won 17 games in a row.
All right, 18 after this next round.
Let's go. I hope you're right, Doug.
Yep, me too.
Yeah,
All right.
something, dude.
Is there another game? I forgot.
Yeah. We have Florida and Auburn, Doug.
Can I go first?
Yes, you can.
I'm going with Florida.
All right.
Don't
yeah.
ask me why, but Florida.
Florida's Florida. Is it like a fuck Auburn kind of thing?
I'm non-biased when it comes to Auburn. You know I am.
Well, then we need to go back to the Big Tent revival and do some baptizing after this game.
I think they're going to need to. Yeah, they're going to have to find Jesus again.
Hallelujah.
Muddy Creek.
All righty then. So let's run around then. All right, Nick, I'm going to let you go first. I know you got a lot at stake on this game. Let's hear what you got to say about Florida and Auburn.
I think it's going to be another close, very close game. Auburn wants this. We beat them at home. We embarrassed them. They're not happy, but the only thing that really sticks out to me is they're not 100% healthy, and Florida's going to use that to their advantage. I got Florida. I've had Florida the whole way through. I'm, of course, not going to turn my back on them now.
Hell yeah, I like that one. All righty. So what do you got on this one, Jason?
Kind of to parlay on what Nikki said, how healthy is Janai Burnham? That is going to be the question in this game, because we already know in the front court that Florida is very, very, very physical. Auburn also has a very, very. It ain't gonna matter what I say. Auburn fans are gonna think I'm shitting on them anyways. Apparently,
That's
so
okay.
because apparently I have been shitting on Auburn when I did not acknowledge them as the number 1 seed. Which, to be honest, I thought
I
Duke
saw
was
that
always-
comment on your post.
Yes,
Like,
which
what?
he was actually one of my listeners from the old radio days back in Alabama. But how healthy is the thing about it is it's still in the back of my mind, and I've just been waiting on it. I've been waiting on that game, like in the SEC tournament when they played Tennessee, and everything just kind of fell apart. When I watched that game, I was like, okay, this is the type of game that's going to cost Auburn in the tournament. They're going to get their accolades for being the number 1 overall seed. And I still think that region was the region of death. And how they were able to get through it, props to them. So there you go. I'm not talking trash. But I think, again, Florida's already had their scare with UConn. They had their other scare with Texas Tech. Usually when you have that scare, like Duke did with Arizona, usually when you get that little scare, you get that little slice of humble pie, and it tastes really bitter, but you still come out on top. I feel like Florida has already had that, and there's a little bit more focus there. And the advantage of them being healthy is good. Now, Auburn does have their shooters. They have shooters galore. If the ball is going in, Florida's going to be in trouble. But that's always hit or miss. Mm-hmm. And then it comes down on the Florida side, and you just got to stop Walter Clayton Jr. Like you either.
But Tech did that, and look at Hall came in and said, "Hey, let me take it from here."
There's
always someone right there.
You either shut him down like Duke did with Mark Sears at Alabama, or you implement the Bat Boy Detroit Pistons strategy of just letting Michael Jordan get his and then just beat the shit out of the rest of the team. That's another way that you could probably win this game. I think that Florida is capable of doing that. And also, too, the story has a connection. Todd Golden, head coach of Florida, was actually once on Bruce Pearl's staff. So there's a little bit of maybe insight and maybe to what his quirks is, what kind of adjustments he can make. Todd Golden has learned that. He's come through a good coaching tree. That will be.
And I think that's what we've seen in the regular season.
Yes. And Florida, and really in the regular season, Florida kind of snuck up on everybody. Then when the SEC tournament came along, or really when March came along, everybody looked and said, oh, wow. So this team's been injured, but now they're getting healthy. They might actually be good. So, I'm going to stop being hot-winded here, and I'm just going to go with my initial pick. And my pick for the national championship game, I'm going to go with the Florida Gators, and they're going to take on Duke.
Awesome. What about you, Sean? What you got on this, man?
Yeah, and shout out to one of our contributors for sending me this earlier in the week, Landon Beeman. We love Landon. So to Jason's point earlier about this being Duke's best team in the last, 10 years, 15 years?
Since their last national championship.
How about this being Duke's second best team ever in the Ken Pom era, which I think goes back to 1996, maybe 95, somewhere. So what if I told you that in the entirety of Ken Pom, all 4 teams in this Final Four are in the top 10 Ken Pom teams? Duke is second, Houston is 6th, Florida is 8th, and Auburn is 10th. All time in the Ken Pom ratings, and we got all 4 of them in the Final Four. So that's pretty cool. But to get down to brass tacks with Auburn and Florida, one, I think it's great. We got the SEC regular season champion against the SEC tournament champion. I think that's outstanding. Props to Auburn. I agree with Jason. Going through, I think their region was the toughest region to get through.
Thank you. I'm not on an island here. Thank you.
And now I will disagree with you a little bit. Auburn had their little we got to wake up moment. They were down by 10 points to Michigan, and thank God they rallied and came back and got rid of that team. That was outstanding by Auburn. So, great job, Auburn, in that game. But I agree with Jason. I want to know the status of Broom going into this game. And, if he's close to 100%, that's a big deal. If he's not, that's an even bigger deal. Because as they go, as he goes, they go. And when he doesn't play well, that's that Florida game. He didn't have that great of a game, and they lost. So, and he didn't have that great of a game against Duke, and they lost to Duke in the non-conference. So I think that's going to be a big deal. But then, as you guys alluded to with the coaches, I just don't think Bruce Pearl is built for big games. For as long as he's been coaching, how many times have we seen him fall flat on his face? And here's another opportunity, and I just don't think he's going to get it done. I don't. Even though,
yes, Sean, thank you for. I've been tiptoeing around this like a politician, but you just flat out went and said it. So thank you for that. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Sean's been saying it all year.
I mean, now to your other point though, man, if Denver Jones, Chaney Johnson, Chad Baker Mazzara, and Broom all go off, that's going to be hard for Florida to stop.
Yeah, that's trouble.
That would be very
Mazzara
hard.
Get hurt too?
No, Mazzara's okay. He's all right, but I just can't see them all clicking. They just really haven't, but for a few games this entire season. And I've been riding Florida since early February when we all saw them destroy Auburn in that game. We saw them run through the SEC tournament. They've had a couple of scares here, but I think that's out of their system, and I think it's all systems go. Give me Florida by 8 points in this game.
Hell yeah! So what you got, Ed? I think we lost Ed, so I'm gonna put my spiel in.
Hold on, let me check on that.
Right
Okay,
here.
see, sorry,
There we go.
Ed.
So here you go, Ed.
I am going with Auburn. I think they get revenge. Florida looked like the best team in the country, except maybe Duke late in the year. They've had 2 scares in the tournament, and the Texas Tech game was like I said, that was a Houdini act because they were done. It was over, and they came back. And I don't think that they're going to be able to survive another one. And Auburn, they lost 3 out of 4 down the stretch, and now they're playing at the top of their game again. So I've got Auburn winning it by about 6.
I think that was a great point because I was concerned about. I'm sorry, Nikki. What's that?
I said Ed's just salty because Auburn beat Michigan, so he wants that.
Beat that ass. Beat that ass.
But wait a second. There's nothing for me to complain about in that game because Michigan was playing about as well as they could have, and then Auburn just steamrolled them. And it was they came back. It was like what's that guy? The cartoon.
So the same as what Florida did against Tech?
No, wait. Are you talking about Wile E. Coyote?
Yeah, the Roadrunner.
The Roadrunner. I remember that.
Sped right by.
Hell yeah.
You mean the Wile E. Coyote that probably has like 1,000 lawsuits against Acme Corporation?
Yeah. So me and Ed and Robert, we all go back to Wile E. Coyote.
We all seen a Michigan team get beat that bad since Texas played up there in the fall, didn't they? Last fall.
Yeah.
In the early.
Ed, let me tell you something, Ed. You're the one that's taking yourself out. I have to add you back. and I don't know what you're doing if you're hitting buttons on your phone or whatever, but
Okay.
every time
I
you've
got
gone
it.
out, you're doing it.
So I'm obviously at this point I'm convinced that Sean will be having Thanksgiving dinner at Paul Feinbaum's house.
Why
We
would
ain't
you
ready.
say that? I mean, it's
Because
not
he
an
hates
SEC thing.
Harbaugh.
It's not an SEC thing to dislike Michigan. That's universal.
It is.
That's right. It is universal.
ACC, Big 12, everybody hates Michigan.
Not as much as we could though, Sean, because Michigan ain't really done a lot.
Not everybody hates
in anything.
Michigan. That's bullshit.
Oh, really? So we're not gonna
I think we
make
hate Michigan more than we should because, like I said, I mean, Michigan's heyday was like in football. It was like 1912.
That's
Until they cheated.
Actually, it was 2024.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
when they won the natty, he says, is that the natty that she had to be removed, Ed?
That's the Astros natty.
The Astros natty?
I mean, that was their
Don't bring up 1998 then.
Ed,
Yep, I
Ed,
was gonna say.
hold up, everybody stop. Ed, you're talking, but you took yourself out of the audio. I'm going to add you back, okay? You ready? All right, here we go. All right, you're back, Ed.
Ed, we're gonna have a class one night on, computers and laptops.
No, I'm not doing
phones.
anything. But what I'm saying is, after the show, y'all just need to put on some fucking Aerosmith because Dream On. They're not taking that fucking title away. It's not happening. That ship has sailed.
We cheated fair and square, and we're not giving it back. That's what Ed's saying, and I love it.
No, they're not taking it back.
No, but now the fans have.
Ed, we're going to commemorate the title this year with the Live Championship.
That's right. Live championship. And your team sucks the most. All right, so I'm going to say my little thing about this game that I find is interesting. And right now, Auburn has played better since they backed into the tournament.
I got an emergency.
If you got an emergency, you got to handle it.
Wipe first, then flush.
All right. So Auburn is playing better than when they backed into the tournament. But if you really, look at this matchup,
Are we going to the bathroom?
Where the fuck's Ed going?
He said he had an emergency. I figured he had to go to the bathroom.
Hold on, wait.
Oh, we've never had video before.
He's bringing the camera.
Hey,
I don't think he does it.
send him some depends.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Hold on.
Hope he's all right.
Ed, are you there?
He is. He's in the bathroom.
Really
I was
happening.
on mute for a good reason.
Jason, this is really cool because you're looking toward Ed's box.
Little bathroom music. If y'all can hear it.
We have party humor here on Smacking Off the Podcast. So I think that the Florida Auburn game is going to be a whole lot like Duke and Alabama because of the size differences. And even though Auburn has some big guys and Broom plays on the outside, I think that's overall as a team. Florida has more people with size that's going to counter them, and people coming off the bench like Ho or Hoff. How do you pronounce that, Nikki? Haugh?
Ho. I call him a hoe.
I prefer Ho. That's fine.
I mean,
And he's been. What's that?
You can't keep a hoe down.
Can't keep a hoe down. He's been playing really well, and I believe overall as a roster right now that Florida outmans Auburn, but there are individuals on Auburn like Broom, obviously, if he's healthy, that are stars. And sometimes stars can win games. We saw that with Florida. A star come back and Clayton and helped him win the game. So if you're matching stars on this, to me the wild card is Ho. So he's my Ho, and I'm picking Florida to go to the national championship game.
All right. So when is the national championship game? Is that Sunday?
That's Monday night.
Monday night. So we won't have another show. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that that Houston advances to the championship game, Florida advances to the championship game, and Florida wins it all.
Are we not having a Tuesday night recap?
I mean, we can do a recap, but it'll be too late to pick on it.
Well, I think we're all kind of. I mean, we can all make our picks from what we've picked. So I think Dr. Balls, you want to lead us off? You got Duke and Florida in your title game.
I got Duke and Florida in my title game, and man, this is hard to pick because I hate Duke, but I think Duke's going to win another natty, guys.
God damn it, Bob.
Yeah. Sad day, but I mean that's just what I'm seeing. But I'd love to see Florida beat it and beat Duke.
All right,
Duke-
second that one, Jason.
Duke is that what you're taking right now, Ed? Is that what you're taking? A Duke?
He's taking the Duke, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try something real here. It could probably fail miserably, but give me a thumbs up if you hear music in the background, and a thumbs down if you don't.
Yeah, I heard it.
Hold on.
He put the fader out there. Yeah.
Monday night, you will acknowledge the tribal chief of college basketball, and that is the Duke Blue Devils.
All righty, who you got, Sean?
I was going to help Ed make his pick.
Oh,
Ed, are you still there, Ed?
Well, we can hear the bathroom.
I don't know if you want me to put the music back on.
Edward.
I'm going to send him some Depends, guys.
I was going to say, this is like, if you ever had that, heard that Adam Sandler CD with the skits and everything.
Ed, you're still alive.
I'm going to work on a sponsorship with Depends so we can have Ed wear them and... Oh.
I'm curious to see. Are we
Never a dull moment
Yeah,
on
ulcerative
smacking off.
colitis.
I may have something for this. Hang on.
Ulcerative colitis is winning. Ooh, I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
As much as I want to root with Nikki for the Gators, and I do, my heart will be with them if they're in the championship game, unless they're playing Houston, of course. But I picked Duke, I picked Florida, and just watching the way Duke has been playing recently, it's hard to not see them winning the championship.
You're doing like I did, Sean. You're going against your bracket, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. Duke would join UConn and North Carolina with 6 championships, tied for third most, obviously behind Kentucky with 8 and UCLA with 11. But it's just watching them against Arizona, watching them against Alabama. I mean, their body of work speaks for itself, despite the ACC being probably the worst of the Power 5 conferences this year. But there's just so much talent. And then watching that center of theirs, it's 7'2", and usually big guys like that are stiff. This kid is flexible as Gumby, going up, getting rebounds, alley oops. I mean, he's incredible. I mean, if he ever figures out a jump shot, him and Wembanyama are going to have some battles at the next level. But it's hard to pick against all that talent. And John Shire said as much in the offseason when he went out to build this team. And I think that's the theme that you're going to see going forward, unless the NCAA changes the rules to allow for more scoring. But the game has gotten more physical, and then size matters, length matters. And I agree with Bob and his assessment with the Florida Auburn game. I think Florida's just got so many big dudes, and they're big dudes that can shoot the ball, which is, Haw really impressed me the other night. I didn't think a kid that
Big
big
toe.
could get that far away from the hoop and just, ripping it right through the nets. So I'd like to see Condon play against Flag. I think that's a great matchup, and Knipple against Noel. I mean, so I think that's the game. And this tournament's been nothing but chalk basically the whole way. So why not give us Duke and Florida in the national championship game and give us a hell of a game? And Duke maybe wins it at the gun.
Yeah. What you got?
Acknowledge them, Sean. Acknowledge them.
Ed, are you still up? Ed.
Ed. Who you got, Ed?
Ed, I think you're
still in
muted.
the toilet.
He's on the can. Good Lord.
He's still on
Ed, I can't unmute you. You have to do that.
His time is now.
Time is now. You can't see me. My time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me.
All right, Ed. I'll go ahead and pick for Ed. Ed's going with Florida.
I'm going for
Oh, yeah.
Florida.
I like that. That was Ed. That was really, you were channeling Ed. I felt that, Doug. You were totally channeling Ed there, right?
Well, you would think
Since he picked Auburn.
if he's
to
taking
beat
a
Florida.
if he's taking a Duke, then he's rooting for or going for Duke, right?
No, he's taking a Duke. He's going. Auburn. He's got Florida winning.
Oh,
God
okay.
damn it! I mean, you can't prove I'm wrong. Ed,
We'll try.
I have Duke beating Auburn.
God damn it! We knew that.
Okay.
I got
Oh,
Florida
yeah, sorry.
going all
Yeah,
the way.
Duke beating Florida. That's right. It's not Florida. He's got Duke beating Auburn. Okay, fuck you, Ed. Let's get. Y'all ready to go to bed?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So